And now, Jalen and Jacoby on ESPN Radio.
When I pop the trunk, head to death. Y'all pop the trunk, I pop the hood.
Now act stupid, I'll pop the trunk. Now give me your boom.
He will be here in a second, and his name is David Jacoby. Holler at him on IG at Jacoby Juice.
Shout out.
I am Jalen Rose. What up, Dow? And on the cool check-in, center stage on the mic.
And we putting it on wax. It's the new style.
And you know how we do it for almost 8 years. We get the people! What they want. So we can force a football topic and act like we care about the Patriots beating the Buffalo Bills last night, but we don't.
Nope.
Derek Anderson, who was quarterbacking for Buffalo, was actually out of football 2 weeks ago. So I am surprised that Tom Brady wasn't able to score a touchdown, passing or running. I am not surprised that that gentleman ended up throwing a deciding pick six to decide the game. But the thing that continues to be something that's so glaring for me for New England is, one, who are the people that said that Josh Gordon was going to be Randy Moss? Do they still exist?
Nope.
The last time I checked,
Nope.
Randy Moss is probably the second greatest receiver that I've ever seen behind Jerry Rice.
Yep.
When he's playing with the Patriots, he had no problems getting deep, getting open, catching bombs. I'm not seeing that from Josh Gordon. I'm hearing allegedly that he may or may not have been late for a meeting, and they may or may not start him at the game. He was out there for the first snap. Maybe that's Patriot shenanigans. Maybe it isn't. But whatever. The other team, again, had Derek Anderson starting at quarterback. Because you can't put Nate Peterman out there. Team will revolt. That guy continues to throw interceptions. Blake Bortles looks at him like, man, you do throw a lot of interceptions. Jameis Winston looks at him like, yo, I get it. By the way, he's not starting this weekend. Ryan Fitzpatrick is. What does that tell me? The coach won out. You go into an office with the general manager and you say, you want me to continue to be your head coach and you don't want to lose the locker room? I think we should start Ryan Fitzpatrick. Now, as the GM that took Jameis number 1 overall, might cost you your job. Let's talk to the owner about it. So it clearly seems like they're trying to salvage their season. The trade deadline is this afternoon. Of course they're going to try to trade Jameis. I hope Deshaun Jackson can end up in Houston. They're down Fuller. I would love to see him with Deshaun and Hopkins going deep. He's caught more 60-yard passes than any player in the history of the NFL. What's going to happen with Demaryius Thomas? Is he going to be moved by the Broncos? It's going to be fast and furious this afternoon. Let's get to the NBA. As my brother David Jacoby just entered the studio, getting a little makeup by Laura, who's the absolute best. Shout out to John Curtis, continues to make sure our studio is A+ and our amazing staff. Kayla Johnson, who continues to give us terrific social clips. We're trying to step our game up around here. But the Golden State Warriors were dominant yesterday. Did you watch it today, David?
Klay Thompson
Fire!
went off
M.O.P.
last night.
Fire!
Absolutely off. The second game in a back-to-back on the road, go from Brooklyn to Chicago. Klay Thompson was on absolute fire. He was hitting from everywhere, and once it started to happen, once the first quarter, everyone knew that Klay was hot. One of the best things that happens, the Warriors just fell in line. They're like, okay, here's the plan. Klay's got a headband on. Let's give him the ball. Let's find him. He broke his teammates' record. He made 14 three-pointers in an NBA basketball game in 27 minutes. Jalen, what did you make of this outstanding performance?
This embodies who the Golden State Warriors are.
How's that?
Kind of like the Wu-Tang Clan, because when you get going, guess what they do? Keep feeding you. And feeding you, and feeding you, and feeding you. And so Klay Thompson is the residual product of playing with two MVPs and KD, who just had 25 in the fourth quarter at the Garden. You were there. Steph Curry, who just recently put up 50.
51.
Now he gets his 50-point game.
52.
And so, guess how much usage it takes for him to do this? Not much.
No.
Because of the 14 threes that he made, guess how many dribbles he took?
3.
13.
Oh, in the whole game.
He took 13 dribbles.
In the game.
Just so you know, your favorite point guard is going to dribble the ball down one time and dribble the ball 13 times. Okay. He had 52 touches, 52 points. That's effective. That's efficient. That's a guy and a team that understands using somebody to their strength. And when they get going, you continue to milk it and maximize.
The best thing about this is this wasn't, the defense is so focused on Steph and KD that Klay snuck around and got these little points like on the sly. The Warriors were obviously dribbling up the court, staring at Klay, setting picks for Klay, trying to get Klay open, saying, you know what tonight is? Tonight is Klay's night. Let's just do it for him. And then Klay recognized this after the game when he spoke to reporters.
Even before I went out from the second half, Steph looked at the box score and said, go get it. And that just shows you the unselfishness that is within him. Same with, KD and Draymond and DJ and everyone else that was out there on the floor trying to find me and get me good looks.
So this is a string of plays in the second half. I was watching this where he didn't hit all these, but these are consecutive possessions where they're just trying to find Klay. Every single one. It's where is Klay? Consecutive possessions. There's where's Klay? Where's Klay? And then he hits the 14th. They get him 14, and they're like, all right, Klay, I had 51. I had 13 made threes. Now you have 52 and you have 14 made threes. Have a great night. Sit down on the bench.
How about the fact that it was still 5 minutes to go in the third quarter?
I know. He's 27 minutes, Jalen Rose. 27 minutes.
Let me show you how the game has progressed. There was a time when Sabonis, Ben Gordon, and myself were the only three players in the history of the
Arvydas
NBA.
Sabonis we're talking about.
Yes.
For the youngsters.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're the only three players in the history of the NBA to score 25 points in less than 30 minutes. Just think about that. That was 25 points in less than 30 minutes. This is not only did he do that last night, he's done it before.
Of course.
Multiple players in today's game have done. I've seen Damian Lillard do it. I've seen CJ McCollum do it. Clearly seen Steph and KD do it. The three-point shot has evolved to a point when you look at a box score and one guy attempts 24 three-point shots.
In 27 minutes. It wasn't some overtime game where it was a shootout that went to double overtime and he had 24 three-point attempts. In 27 minutes.
That's why, when his free agency happens, and I was just talking to Stephen A. Smith and joking with him about this, why would Klay leave? Why would you leave the Splash Brothers?
Where else are they going to do that for you?
Why would you leave a team that you already have multiple championships still going for another one? And continuing.
They're going to give you an offer.
And more importantly, the team has shown you that they're going to continue to add to the dynasty. You ever heard of a guy named Kevin Durant? Oh, he joined their team.
Well, speaking of Kevin
Durant. You ever
Durant,
heard of Boogie Cousins? He joined their team.
Kevin Durant also took a little bit of a salary haircut to stay on the Warriors. Do you think Klay would do the same? He has said he would not.
But also, he doesn't, in theory, have to take a haircut. They can actually take care of him. You got to look at the dynamics of who's taking those cuts. It's Steph Curry, it's KD, it's LeBron James. These are players that get more money from endorsements than they get from the team.
You don't think Anta money's going to make that up?
I don't think it will.
You don't think the Anta money's
But it
going to be
helps.
there?
All green helps.
Of course.
And his brother played
Chocolate
Major
milk?
League Baseball.
Is he the chocolate milk guy?
His father played in the NBA.
You guys the chocolate milk
so
guy.
It wasn't like when he got drafted, he had to move his family to the suburbs. They was already there.
That's fair.
Okay? So the Golden State Warriors are an ideal situation for Klay, and I don't see them breaking that up anytime soon.
I don't think so either. But here's a real question for you. He got a little head bonk. Needed 2 stitches in the middle of the game. Had to wear the headband. The headband was thick. It looked funny on him with the beard and everything. It didn't even look like Klay Thompson making all those threes. The next game, he has to wear the headband, right?
No.
Isn't that how this works?
No.
What? That's not how it works?
No.
Oh, I would definitely be wearing the headband.
Here's why. He already made 10 threes before he put it on. So the headband didn't change he only made 4 with the headband. He made 10 without it.
That's fair.
Okay? So he's going to go back to doing
He did kind of cool off after the headband came on, too. So yesterday, he was shooting, I think, 12.9% from the field going into the game. Look at how that has changed. So in the first 7 games, he was about 15 points a game, and he was shooting 13.9. That's pretty bad. Just one performance last night, he's now up to 29.7. I mean, he was slumping. Like, let's be real. Through 7 games, shooting 14% from 3, that's not Klay Thompson. And he just exploded last night.
Again, this is like the Golden State Warriors have multiple players who don't trump each other. Like what I talked about with the Boston Celtics eventually having to go towards Kyrie's identity versus a team that wants to predicate who gets the shot on ball movement identity.
Yeah.
That's something that they got to figure out. The Golden State Warriors lanes are figured out. Steph Curry, heat check score that happens to be playing point guard in positionless basketball. Klay Thompson, traditional shooting guard, going to guard the opposing team's best guard and or small forward. Draymond Green, Swiss Army knife, defensive player of the year candidate, lead the team in rebounds, lead the team in assists, set a lot of picks, do all of the dirty work. KD, he just come in as a hired gun. Bob Myers said
it. This is the thing. This type of basketball is why I was never mad at KD's decision. It looks like the Warriors are having so much fun. You're Steph Curry and KD. You are 2 of the best scorers in the game. I mean, they might be the 2 best scorers in the game. And they see Klay hit a couple threes, and they're like, all right, it's your night tonight. You do this. And they're all celebrating each other's accomplishments. Steph Curry is celebrating Klay Thompson breaking his record.
Absolutely, because he wants to come back and then eventually try to shoot for that high score again. That's the competitive nature of those players. But again, the Golden State Warriors have built something that's truly special because the players, again, get the chance to function at their maximum without getting in each other's way. Normally that doesn't happen.
Of course.
Like nobody in theory has to make a major sacrifice. It's like, oh, he's going, give him the ball. So it's almost like you got to get going first.
So here's my question for you. All of these reasons of why Klay Thompson should stay apply to Kevin Durant, don't they? Like, what's different about Kevin Durant where we always assume that he's going to leave and then you're like, oh, well, Klay Thompson's got to stay.
So, respectfully, when LeBron leaves Cleveland the first time and the second time, when KD leaves OKC, that's an MVP player admission that I can't lead this situation to a championship. Okay. That's what that did.
Okay.
And so for KD to join the Warriors, not only did he win 2, he won Finals MVP. Validation. Twice. Boom. So now if they get a third one, it's like, y'all can take care of Klay. Y'all can take care of Draymond. Maybe even take care of Boogie. But now, to what you just established, I think he goes on for a different sort of legacy play, if that's something that he wants to do.
But we'll see. Some tells me it won't be the last time we talk about KD's future and where he's going to play next year. And it also won't be the last time we talk about this team, the LeBron-led Lakers. They played Jimmy Butler and the Minnesota Timberwolves. It was a close game. You see LeBron gets blocked by KD. Jimmy Butler hit a bunch of threes in the fourth quarter. Some open like that one, some contested. And also, that one, I love that one with Rondo covering him. They ended up beating the Lakers. The Lakers are now 2-5. Even before the season, we got to remember this. They expected to have a slow start. Like, they got in front of this. Magic Johnson, Luke Walton, LeBron James, they all expected to start slow. So we always say happiness is a function of realistic expectations. Did they expect to start this slow?
They didn't. You can't afford to start this slow in the Western Conference. Again, I stress, teams 3 through 9 last year were only divided by 2 games. It's that close. It's that stout. Oh, and by the way, the Lakers have 2 wins against the Suns and against the Nuggets at home. Great quality win. They were playing without their suspended players, Ingram and Rondo, but also the Nuggets were playing without Will Barton. But let's talk about their losses. Twice to San Antonio.
Yep.
Once to the Blazers, Rockets, and the Wolves.
Those are all good teams.
These are all good teams.
Those are all good teams.
Fringe playoff teams, but you know what they're not? The Golden State Warriors. And so what ends up happening is now all of these teams start to suppress one another. Utah's going to be in the conversation. OKC is going to be in the conversation. Denver. And so where do you slot this Lakers team? I continue to say, I would not be surprised if when making the playoffs, it's a 7 seed. It's an 8 seed.
Oh, they're going to be playing meaningful games, game 80, game 81, and maybe game 82.
It ain't going to be, LeBron resting because they got the 3rd seed locked up. Not going to be able to do it.
It doesn't look like that.
And I don't see a major move happening because their young assets are all on rookie deals and their veteran performers are all on 1-year deals. So this is basically what the roster's probably going to look like other than minor tweaks. But Mo Wagner is going to have to play key minutes for them.
Where did he go to college? Where did he go to college?
University of Michigan.
Oh, okay.
They're going to need more height out there.
Yeah.
JaVale McGee is not a 35-minute player, and you saw the end of the game.
They need height for defense.
Just think about this. Jimmy Butler was the person killing the Lakers last night, right?
Yep, right, especially the fourth quarter.
On the last play, who's guarding him?
On a switch,
Brandon Ingram, Rajon Rondo. You know why? LeBron got to play up front against Taj. He got to play up front against Karl Anthony Towns.
Yeah.
Okay? That's not a recipe for success. Jimmy Butler hit 5 threes in the fourth quarter. Okay? So these are things that they're going to have to iron out if they're going to turn it around
If
fast.
I'm in the Jimmy Butler trade sweepstakes, like what else does this man have to do to make you trade for him? Like if I'm the Clippers or the Rockets or the Heat or one of these teams that wants Butler, like I might up my offer based on these
I'm
performances.
going to give you a different way to look at it. It's Minnesota saying we really know how good he is. We're going to be patient and wait for a good offer.
Sure. And Karl Anthony Towns calling every day to his agent being like, when are they going to trade Jimmy? It's time for news that matters. Jalen, there's different ways to show love to a significant other. You know, I'm sure you've bought Molly flowers. You've cooked her food. You've just written her nice poems and whatever. And there was a young woman in Mexico who had a different way of showing love. She surgically removed her belly button, put it in an envelope with a note that said, I love you, and sent it to her boyfriend. What? Jalen, let's imagine someone did that for you. What would your reaction be?
That sounds unhealthy, physically and mentally and emotionally. Okay. The optics of now seeing someone that had a belly button and not having one going forward may be a little weird, especially for somebody like me. I have an Audi.
Oh yeah, you gotta get that Audi taken. Let's surgically remove your Audi and we'll get it to Molly. We'll remove your Audi and give it to Molly live on the show. That'll be good. That's for ratings. We're going to do that for ratings. If I'm getting surgery for the show, you're getting surgery for the show. This is going to be great. There's no other way to say I love you than surgically removing your belly button, especially if it's an Audi. You look better afterwards.
I can't believe it.
That Philip brought his little brother on our mission into orbit.
How long until we get there? How long until we get there? How long until we get there?
No, I can't believe how easy it was to save hundreds of dollars on my car insurance with Geico.
What's this button do? What's this button do? What's this button do? What's this button do?
Don't touch that.
Believe it, Geico could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
We have a guest, Jalen Rose. We have the honor of being joined by Dan Flores, the director of the epic 20-hour film,
baby.
Basketball, A Love Story. Thank you for joining us.
Love.
Thank you. You guys know you're in trouble when having me is an honor.
It's an honor. It's an honor. We don't usually have a lot of guests.
That's for sure.
Well, we meant it's an honor for you, really. You know?
It might be a slow day also.
Well, there's so many stories being told in this 20-hour film, which I imagine took you a long time to make.
Took me, you know what? Took me 4.5 years.
That's a long time.
Nah, not really. Takes me 90, for a 90-minute film, takes me 2 years. So there was a lot of pressure to get this done in 4.5 years. Started as a 10-hour movie and then jumped to 20, man.
And there are so many different stories that we want to focus in on, but we're going to start with one of our favorites, the Dream Team.
Yeah, the Dream Team. You know, people make that's coming up tonight, actually. People make a mistake and they think that the 88 loss by the Americans was the impetus to the Dream Team in 92. In fact, the NBA had been planning a team of professionals before that, and which is when the McDonald's tournament started before that. There was all sorts of discussions between Gromulski, who ran FIBA, David Stern, and Russ Granick. But the 88 Olympic defeat, where America was just horrendous. It wasn't as bad as the 2004 team. But 88, they had no shooters. John Thompson coached. He had one or two of his players there. They had no one to shoot in that whole team. Danny Manning got shut out in the championship game, and Lithuania had a great team. Sabonis and Marshallonis. I mean, those guys are Hall of Famers.
Of course.
You guys break my heart when you talk about the Dream Team.
Yeah.
And I wonder if you're covering this in the doc about the fact that Isaiah Thomas, remember the Detroit Pistons bad boys, was left off that team?
Well, of course, I cover it big time in the doc, and I think Jalen really openly and honestly because a bunch, Isaiah is Isaiah. He's coy about it. I don't know what happened. But of course that's not accurate. And Chuck Daly, his coach, who he helped to win 2 NBA championships, was the coach of the Dream Team, the handpicked coach, a wise choice. And clearly Isaiah was left out of it because there was a spat and it was a personal thing between him and Michael Jordan. Although a number of people in the film deny that. Ahmad denies it, and Pete Vesey denies it. Michael was not interviewed, but he says in the film he won't speak about that in the film.
Interesting.
And to Jalen's point, there's no question that Isaiah Thomas deserved to be on that team. There's no question. I mean, Donnie Walsh would always say to me, before he hired Isaiah to come to Indiana, and he would say to me, Danny, the toughest guy on that Bad Boys team was Isaiah Thomas.
True story. Well, Jalen, talking about one of your favorite players, Isaiah Thomas, but your true favorite player was Irving Magic Johnson, and he's got an important story to tell in this piece about one of the most impactful sort of periods of professional basketball.
Right. Also tonight there's a scene called Magic, and obviously he's covered numerous times before.
Of course.
But Magic's diagnosis of HIV, in my view, and it sounds strange, I think the world was benefited by the fact that this disease attacked Magic Johnson. I think so.
Somebody could deal with it. Yeah. I know where you're going with that.
Not only the fact that he could deal with it, but he could deal with it, yes. Although in the film he breaks down and says it's the only time he ever saw his father cry when he had to tell him this, But if you believe, which I kind of do, can a ball change the world? It can't really change the world, but it can help change the world in a positive way. Then what better human being, sounds strange word, right? But he did become a spokesman, and he opened up a lot of doors, and he made people feel less shame. Now, he gets diagnosed in 1991. It's one of those times that you remember where you were when you heard that.
Yeah. First day of Michigan basketball practice, we went up to the locker room. I wrote Magic 32 on the side of my shoe.
See?
Of course.
I was sitting outside. I was in the car ready to go upstairs to my office. Listen, someone called me on that. But Magic, in 1991, the shame and the discrimination and the hatred and the prejudice towards people that had this disease. A little boy in Indiana on the cover of People magazine or Newsweek, Ryan White, no one would go to school with him, and he got it from a blood transfusion. Yep. So Magic had the heroicness to him to come out and stand up and become, I don't like this word ambassador, but he was a champion, not an accident. That he was a champion. And then I go into the details about there were guys that didn't want to play with him or against him in the film. Yep. Malone and Mark Price and even teammates. And then he gets cut, and the trainer does not want to make him feel worse, so he doesn't put the gloves on and wipes the cut off. And you could see in the film, you'll see it tonight, the shot of two guys in the stands, the stands are completely silent, just staring at that. But look what world of good this guy has done.
It's a powerful moment in the film. We'll transition from a powerful moment in the film to sort of a fun moment in the film, especially for Knicks fans, is the famous first lottery, which there's been a lot of discussion about that still murmurs to this day about these moments during this lottery.
Like, was it cold in the freezer?
Was it in the freezer? Was it a setup? Was it a turn corner?
Was that corner turn? You'll see it all tonight. I'm not giving it away. I'm telling you that right now.
Oh, do you really know?
There.
Do you really
Wait
know?
a second. I was there. I was there. Standing in the back, I was there. I was a Knicks fan then. Well, sort of. And
you put it in the freezer.
No.
We'll reveal it. Dan Flores is the person that turned the corner on the envelope.
But Bill Simmons says in the film, it's the greatest magician trick of all time. It could probably never be done again. He's one side. The other side is Russ Granick and Marv Albert saying, are you kidding me? Stern would be in jail if he ever did that. David's in it. He is denying it, at this point. He's denying it at this point.
At this point.
I'm kidding. But then at the end of the scene, there's the big breakthrough moment, not giving it away. Shaquille O'Neal, ready to be the number one pick a couple of years later.
Number one franchise changer.
We'll see tonight what happened.
All right, one other thing that I hope we see tonight about the transgressions and or the progress that little big men have made in a sport that's normally dominated by guys that are a lot taller than them.
Right. There's a scene called Little Big Men, and this is how I thought of the scene. I asked almost everyone to tell me about the paint.
Yeah.
And then I said, well, that's not good enough. And I wasn't doing enough on some of the great little big men. Tiny Archibald I interviewed. I mean, Tiny Archibald's brilliant, right?
Yes.
You know, I did a lot on Calvin Murphy. Phil Ford, Rookie of the Year. You know, there were lots of guys I wasn't paying enough attention to. Nash I did. Cousy I did, right? Lenny Wilkins, Little Big Men. The Secrets, Isaiah. That's who the scene is about. How they see the floor. What's the relationship between the quarters of the floor and being that guy with the ball? What's the relationship with the point? Chris Paul is in it. How am I supposed to get the ball to the shooters? I didn't notice. I think I know the game pretty well. But you can ask Jalen. He's a lefty. If I'm passing you the ball, where do you want that ball?
Oh, no doubt about it. Like a lefty likes to come off of the baseline where he can turn over his right shoulder.
But you want the ball in your left hand,
side,
right?
in the pocket.
Absolutely.
That's right. And Chris Paul talking about, look, part of being a little big man is knowing how to play defense. I love this part. He's talking about how to defend the 2-on-1 break. And where do you put your hands on the 2-on-1 break? You're the one.
Fake and fall, stop the ball, try to go after the first
He's
strip.
saying pick him up high because now I'm faking him to pass it low. If my hands are low, they're going to alley-oop it over me. The little big men, I mean, Tiny Archibald, Nelson calls him the greatest backboard shooter of all time. Now I watch Steph Curry, but I think Tiny was a lot smaller than Steph Curry.
That's led the league in points and assists.
Only guy in history, right? I mean, so that's, I love that scene. You know, it's funny with Jalen. I mean, he's 6'8", 6'9", but he played the game as basically, I don't want to say a little man, but you understood.
Because he couldn't jump.
Because I couldn't jump.
Couldn't jump. Like all the little men you're talking about could probably leap a little bit better than Jalen.
Well,
so
Calvin Murphy could.
Yeah.
Phil Ford, and I hope people remember Phil Ford. He was Rookie of the Year, I think, in '76. He was an Olympic champion, gold medal champion. He was the center to the Dean Smith four corners for years. He played that, and Phil Ford could never dunk. Could never dunk. And have a pro admit that he could never dunk. I've heard that you couldn't dunk, Jalen. But then I saw a clip, but it's a bad angle. I got to look at that again to see if it's really you, man.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks,
Dan Flores,
guys.
you can watch the latest episodes of Basketball, A Love Story tonight on ESPN and always on the ESPN
I love this
app.
game.
So you guys listen to the show, you know that I've got a very busy schedule. Working on the Jalen and Jacoby show Monday through Friday. Also working on Always Late with Katie Nolan 3 days a week. And 3 kids at home. Wife. And I got to get a little me time in, a little workout time, a little time with the boys. Got my rec league basketball. Just the week fills up fast for David Jacoby. And you don't always have time to go shopping. But you care about your clothes. And you want to look like you're up with the latest, and you want to look good. You can't just wear all your old clothes. Even if you love your old clothes, over time, you just kind of fall out of love with them. Here's the answer for all of that. It's Stitch Fix. Stitch Fix understands that life gets busy. You just give them your sizes, give them a little bit about your favorite type of clothes, how much you want to spend, and they will give you a personal stylist that will select for you based on your preferences. And also, when they send you the box, it's fun. You open up the box, you get a bunch of new clothes. I like to put them on and model them for my wife. You don't have to buy those clothes. You're not committed to those clothes. Those are just suggestions that your stylist thinks you might like. You keep some, you send some back. And here's what happens. Your stylist gets an idea of which ones you like. So every time you send some back and you keep some, they keep a little bit of data on you. It's so good. And you can discover a style that you never knew you had. You can do that with your friends at Stitch Fix. Stitch Fix has reinvented the way you buy clothes. I'm busy. I don't want to go to the store all the time. Half the time I go to the store, I just look around and don't end up buying anything. Really, that's a lie. I go to the store, I go to the sale racks, I look around and don't buy anything. But here's what happens with Stitch Fix. They take care of everything. If you don't like something, you need another size, you just send them back. No questions asked. The shipping is always free. Not just when you send it back. Also, when you get it, you will not pay shipping with Stitch Fix. You just pay for the clothes that you want. And the deeper your relationship goes with your personal stylist, the more likely it is that you'll keep more clothes. Trust me, I've used it for real, for real. Stitch Fix definitely works. Right now, go to stitchfix.com/Jacoby and get started. Keep all five items in your box. You'll get 25% off your entire purchase. That's stitchfix.com/Jacoby, stitchfix.com/Jacoby. You won't regret it. In Dallas, they had an event called Hennything. I saw a sign outside the event, and in big letters it said, Unlimited Hennessy. So I believe, I was not there, but I believe if you bought a ticket to this event, that meant that you got unlimited Hennessy. You'll never believe this, Jalen.
Cultural.
It didn't end well.
Cultural.
However, it's something I want to talk to you about. It's not unlimited Hennessy or whether or not Hennessy is cultural, because we've covered those topics. It's an interesting thing that happened at this event. There was a small scuffle amongst this large crowd of people who've been enjoying Hennessy. A small scuffle. Even the police, there were no arrests. There was nothing, right?
Right.
But what happened was, during the small scuffle, someone yelled the word gun. And when the crowd, who'd been enjoying Hennessy, heard the word gun, they ran. Run! All at the same time. And they had to shut down the event early.
No surprise. It's that's universal. You don't want to be the person that's standing around looking for answers when everybody else is running.
Yes.
Learned that a long time ago. You don't care if they say gun or fun. If everybody's running, I'm running too. I am not going to be the residual.
I've been in scenarios where me and my friends are walking down the street, and like this dude, this is a true story. This dude popped out with a motorcycle helmet on, but it was like sparkly, kind of like a Halloween costume helmet, and no clothes on. And ran in the middle of the road and started dancing. What? And me and my crew of probably 7 other dudes just sprinted away as fast as possible. I started to get tired and I started yelling, why are we running? Why are we running? Why are we running?
Because you don't want to be the person that everybody else says, he saw everybody else running. He had the chance. But for some reason,
he's wearing a helmet and he's naked.
That's like a scary movie. That's just like a scary movie. The black guys in the movie, we just running when we hear a sound.
We'll figure it out later.
The white guys are like, let's get a flashlight. Let's do a deeper dive.
Later. We'll figure it out later.
And with Halloween coming up tomorrow, here's my challenge.
Oh, what's that?
Be a little more creative than half naked.
What? Well, it just seems like
it seems like a time when
you're getting older, Jalen.
No,
you're getting older.
No, I'm not.
You're getting older.
No, it's just like I appreciate style. I appreciate fashion. And I appreciate more about people than how sexy they can be.
Okay, let me go the other way with this. You get 364 days to show off how fun and intelligent and responsible you are. This goes for men and women. And Halloween is that one day where it's okay to let the freak out. It's okay to be a little wild. One day. 364 other days, I'm not walking the streets in a banana hammock, but maybe tomorrow I'll be walking the streets in a banana hammock and a motorcycle helmet.
Or if you're not on IG 364 days a year, maybe Halloween is the day. If you wanted to see multiple people half naked, tomorrow's your day.
I've always been curious at how we got here, where it's like, I'm going to be a nurse. Do you know what a nurse wears? A very conservative outfit. Like if you're dressing up like a nurse, nurses are not like, they don't have fitted clothes. They're not there for sex appeal. They're not trying to be fly. They have a color. Do you know why they wear that color? Because it hides bloodstains the best. That's what they're doing. There's no tight fitting, scrubs.
Or the easy one is a superhero.
Yeah, superheroes do look kind of sexy though. When you turn non-sexy things into sexy.
Yeah, but it'll be kind of awkward to be on the operating table with somebody's cleavage in your face.
It'd be kind of nice.
Says somebody that possibly is going to get a surgery.
I'm definitely. Oh wow, I got some information from the people.
Okay,
some information from the people. It's just some cautionary tales. Shout out to that one dude who just said, "Look up,
don't do it, please, don't do it."
Post vasectomy pain syndrome.
Shout out.
He's like, "Oh, I had PVPS." So he said, "Don't do it. I had PVPS." Shout out to this guy. I don't have his name in front of me. And I was like, I don't know what PVPS is, but let me just put that in the Google machine. Put it in the Google machine. Post vasectomy pain syndrome. Starts immediately. Could last forever.
What?
Do you know where the pain is, Jalen?
Where's the pain?
Exactly where you think it is. I ride a bike to work.
I'm not gonna be able to do.
And you hope to use those instruments at some point of your life moving forward.
Yes. And do you know what I did? Got the Google results.
Forwarded it to your wife.
Copied, pasted, texted to my wife.
Yes.
You know what she did?
So?
Didn't respond.
Ignored it.
Didn't even talk about it because I was at Monster Jam when I got the link. We haven't talked about it yet.
Ignored it.
Yeah, she's like, whatever. She's like, you know what's painful? Having kids. Look at my nose. Look at my nose.
Don't do it, fam. Don't do it.
Oh, yeah?
Don't do it.
We'll see. I think it'll be good for the show. It's good for ratings. It'll be a rating stunt.
Okay.
What?
So, Jalen.
What up, though?
We both had never tried Arby's. Not because I've never had the opportunity. I've seen Arby's. I've been hungry. I've driven by Arby's. I've been curious about Arby's, but it just never called my name. I've never said, do you know what I want right now? A fast food roast beef sandwich. We talked about it on the podcast. Have you ever tried Arby's?
I've never tried it, but like you, it seemed like when I've been in a mood for fast food, it was always McDonald's, Burger King, Popeyes, KFC.
Taco Bell.
It was just so many options that, as you mentioned, when I think about eating meat, in particular beef, that's like, sliced.
Yeah.
It seems like more of an evening dinner type, not necessarily a sandwich. And so I've never tried Arby's.
Well, the people of Arby's heard us say that, and they sent us some sandwiches.
Free ones?
Free sandwiches.
That's really thoughtful.
So we're going to start with the classic, just to give it a try. I'm going to be honest about this. I don't owe them anything because they sent me a sandwich. If I don't like it, I'll say I don't like it. If I like it, I'll say I like it. So this is the classic. Here you go. You start here. The classic double beef and cheddar. We got a lot. Okay. We got a lot of beef in there.
Well, a couple of things.
Now, we're supposed to use the sauce, the Arby's sauce, the horsey sauce. They got a sauce called horsey sauce. When they're in a meeting coming up with the sauce, I don't know how the horsey sauce won the race. I don't know who was like, horsey sauce? Yeah, let's call it that.
Missouri.
All right. So I'm going to try. Oh, horsey sauce. The horsey sauce has like a mayonnaise sort of a look to it. It might be horseradish, I'm thinking. It's horseradish. Okay, so we're going to try this double beef and cheddar. This is their classic. This is like their Big Mac. And we're going to see what's happening with it.
It's good.
Not bad.
It's good. It's falling off the bone type beef.
Not bad.
It's good.
The horseradish sauce is good. It's, the texture, how do I explain this? It doesn't have like a beef texture, but it doesn't have a Frisbee texture. It's kind of like in between.
It's almost like sliced like it's turkey, but it's beef.
Exactly. Well, I'm glad you mentioned turkey because they sent us some fried turkey, Jalen.
I'm glad I was hungry today.
You love fried turkey.
I do.
You've gotten fried turkey for the staff on multiple occasions.
I have.
Multiple occasions you've gotten fried turkey for the staff.
I have. I love fried turkey.
So this is a fried turkey BLT sandwich.
And shout out to Arby's. Appreciate you guys supporting our program.
Yeah.
Somebody lilistening.
Everybody at Endelman.
Somebody like, you know what?
Shout out to Rima.
Jalen and Jacoby have never tried it, so we're going to make sure that they do.
See, I don't notice that you're going to gluten-free here. You're going carb-free here. You're going meats only.
That's true to who I am.
Healthy Jalen. All right, I'm going to try this fried turkey.
Yeah, this is good.
BLT.
Tastes no different from like a Lowry's that specializes in sandwiches and turkey.
This ain't bad.
It's good.
I would take this over the beef and cheddar, the classic.
It's good.
This is pretty good. I'm going for a second bite, so you know it's good.
So the disrespect, but here's the lesson for everybody out there. Because this happens in your fandom, and I'm going to take this into a sports context.
Oh, okay.
There have been players that you've never met that for whatever reason you feel like you don't like them personally.
Okay.
There are people on social media that you've never met. When you look down at your timeline, you're using terms for that person like hate.
Oh, yeah,
Or
sure.
you're assassinating
Disgusted
their
by
character.
them. Yeah. Or he's weak.
Yeah.
He's soft.
Correct.
Dwight Howard is soft.
Yeah, you never even met him.
I love Dwight Howard is soft is one of my favorite things. Like, really? Dwight Howard is soft? Just because he's happy doesn't mean he's soft.
And so that's what we get for what we said about Arby's.
But I'm not convinced yet.
But we did say we never had it.
I never had it. And I'm open to judgment. Like I said, I don't owe them. I'm going to give them an honest review. The one thing I do like about this sandwich.
Well, Arby's, here's your honest review. There's 3-4 sandwiches on the table, and we done ate them all during this conversation.
I'm not as in on Arby's as you are, but I'll say this.
You're eating it.
I'm eating it. I'm hungry. And this one is the smoked house brisket. One thing I will say.
Don't just say because you're hungry, because if there was some chitlins on the table, you wouldn't be eating.
No. So one thing I do like that they are doing is every single sandwich I've had has had a different bun. The original had like a onion and poppy seed bun. You deconstruct every sandwich like you're a surgeon.
I like this barbecue sauce. And I
this
like
one,
this
smokehouse brisket, has got fried onions in it, some cheese, some bacon, and some brisket. Or no, that's just brisket. Looks like bacon.
And to be 100, even though I'm eating this one, I don't like sandwiches that have fries and onion rings already attached to them.
No, I might put them in myself.
Let me handle that.
Let me handle that.
Let me handle that. You know what I mean? Let me handle that.
All in all,
but this is good.
I'm not going to go to Arby's and search them out.
But
I'm not going to slander Arby's.
Yeah, but now if you're hungry,
I'm not going to slander Arby's
you can't
anymore.
Slander them now.
Yeah, it tastes pretty good. And let's try the fries just to finish. They have curly fries. They're famous for their curly fries.
I only do hot fries.
The fries have a decent taste to them.
Because here's the thing. Like, I'm not much of a chef, but the things I cook.
You're a chef.
The things I cook, I expect for a restaurant or a vendor when I'm spending my money for it to be as good. If it's not as good, then I don't want it. I make good fries.
All in all, I want to thank Arby's and Element PR for sending us the sandwiches.
For the free food.
For sending us the sandwiches. I would say, am I a huge Arby's stan? No. And I'm an Arby's detractor? No. Do I accept Arby's as another branch of the tree of fast food in our great nation? Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Arby's is validated by Jalen and Jacoby.
What? I don't think that they need a competitor. You know, if I was starting a new franchise, I don't think I would go with roast beef sandwiches and meats. One thing I will say is the music on their commercial slaps. Burp, bump, burp, bump, burp, bump, burp, bump. They have the meats. I don't know if I'll pay for the meats, but they have them. No shots at Arby's. That was pretty good. Last night, the Patriots played the Bills, and they beat up the Bills. They dominated them. It was a blowout, but it didn't feel great for the Patriots. Jalen, as I watched this game, I said to myself, these should be touchdowns instead of field goals. You know, I said, like, the Bills are kind of moving the ball against the Patriots. This was a great pick six from McCourty that opened up the game and kept it out of reach. But Jalen, while this was a big win for the Patriots, why did I walk away from this feeling like there's a large gap between them and the Chiefs in the AFC?
Because of a level of vulnerability that you saw from the Patriots that you don't see for the Kansas City Chiefs, who are eventually going to get two of their best defenders back in Houston and Barry, which is clearly going to bolster their defense. And we know the level of explosive weapons they have offensively. Josh Gordon hasn't been a great deep threat so far.
No.
Gronk looks a little banged up.
He looks different.
And he looks like he's hobbling out there.
He made an amazing catch, but it also just didn't feel like the speed and the routes. It just didn't feel the same.
Yeah, he's just not as graceful as a big man that you normally see. And anytime he's wearing so many braces, he looks like Barry Bonds at the plate. It just looks like he's carrying so much. And so they lost Sony Michel as well.
Yep.
And their defense, as you mentioned, was going against Derek Anderson. You know what he was doing a couple of weeks ago? Out of football. Okay,
Really?
so I'm not surprised that they got a pick six against him. I would have thought it would have been more like a Nathan Peterman type performance.
I used to think, are the Patriots and Chiefs who's better for number 1 in the AFC? Now I feel like Chargers and Patriots who's number 2 in the AFC. Moving on. Yesterday on the show, you said the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have to start Jameis Winston. You're like, they have to start Jameis Winston. Well, Buccaneers head coach Dirk Cotter addressed just that. Let's listen.
Yeah, we're going to start Fitz at quarterback this week, and that's what we feel like we need to do this week to give ourselves the best chance. I don't like switching quarterbacks. That's not it's not in my makeup to switch quarterbacks, but we just feel like we got to make the switch at this time.
He says Fitzpatrick gives them a chance to win the game. However, Jalen, there's Ryan Fitz Magic and there's Ryan Picks-Patrick. Which one do you think we'll see on Sunday?
I like what you did there. Either way, you're calling one Jameis Winston and you're calling the other one Fitz Magic. One's going by a government name and throwing a lot of picks and doing a lot of turnovers. And the other one is giving us magic, in particular at the press conference when he's rocking Deshaun's gear. I think this shows that the coach won out here and the locker room won out because we're going to focus on what helps us win this Sunday.
Yep.
Not who's the future at quarterback. Is he going to be the franchise QB moving forward in Winston as a number 1 overall pick? But here's the other thing that works against Jameis that kind of gets brushed under the rug during our enthusiasm for football.
What's that?
The decisions that he make on the football field have been poor and led to turnovers.
And
the ones that he's made off the field has also done the exact same thing.
And affected his on-field play by getting suspended.
Correct. And so couple those two teams together, it almost was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, hoping and praying that somebody would take Jameis off their hands today in a trade. Hoping. Please, somebody come get this guy.
That ain't going to happen.
The other thing is, this won't be his job anymore, and this is not his football team.
Doesn't feel like it.
And so I don't feel that he's going to be out of the league, but I do think other than injury, his days entering training camp as a starting quarterback are
we just
over
watched
with all
Derek
things
Anderson
equal.
start a football game. We just watched Derek Anderson start a football game, so he'll definitely be in the league. Ty Montgomery robbed Aaron Rodgers of a chance to win the game against the Rams, and he robbed all of us of the chance to watch Aaron Rodgers win the game against the Rams when he took it out of the end zone on the kickoff. Of course, he had to face the media eventually, and he did, and here's what he had to say.
I made a split-second decision on, I don't know if this is going to land on the goal line, so I'm not going to take a knee on the goal line at the half-yard line and take a chance at putting the game in the ref's hands. Unfortunately, I ended up fumbling the football. I don't think we'd be having this conversation if I didn't fumble the football, because we know how good our 2-minute offense is.
Jalen Rose, he has an explanation. I like that he has one. He had time to think about it. He's like, look, I thought maybe it would hit the goal line. I didn't want to leave it up to the referee. What do you think about his explanation?
I like that he just stood in front of the cameras like a man and owned it. Like a lot of people, when they make mistakes, bad decisions, don't have the courage to apologize, don't have the awareness to accept responsibility. So he went around it by suggestion, maybe I was too close to the line.
A little bit of an excuse.
And I didn't know if the ref was going to say it was a touchback or not. But the overarching point still lands for me is that he made a bad play. And guess what happens in team sports, in individual sports, and in life? People make mistakes. This was a bad decision. He fumbled the football. They lost the game. For all we know, he saved Aaron Rodgers the opportunity of throwing a pick six to the other team and being the
that's
goal.
an interesting take.
So we just automatically assume
that Rodgers was going to drive them down there and win the game. Of course we assume that. Of course we do. Jalen Rose, we had a matchup of unbeaten Eastern Conference contenders that was going to be so good until...
Now I'm going to show you how the East Coast rocks.
Giannis was in concussion protocol and Kawhi Leonard was resting because of load management. However, they did play the game and the Bucks came out on top. They are now the lone unbeaten team in the NBA. Jalen Rose, I like the Bucks. What did you see from them last night?
Chris Middleton continues to ascend. As I said on this program, I anticipate he's going to be an all-star this year. Got quality minutes from Brogdon and Bledsoe, played well. Henson gave him good minutes up front. Obviously, when you're playing without your MVP candidate, you're going to show a level of vulnerability. And we saw Serge Ibaka on the other team do a really good job of attacking and scoring inside. But it's starting with their coaching. Their coaching that now leads to a culture shift. People sleep on the fact that he led the Atlanta Hawks a couple of years ago when they won 60 games and they had 4 All-Stars. Yeah. Now he's standing on the sideline in Milwaukee doing a great job.
And they had 19 threes in this one. Middleton had 4. Snell was 3 for 3. Ilyasova had a couple. Maker had a couple. Like, they're doing the Coach Bud thing. They're doing the spread the floor, the pace and space, like shoot the threes. They hit a franchise record in threes, and here they are just like 9 games into Coach Bud's tenure.
And they're embodying positionless basketball. You talked about a guy in Thon Maker who's a 7-footer making a 3. Then you talk about Snell, who's a 6'8 defender at multiple positions, making multiple threes. So this is where they're going. And we saw Ilyasova as a guy who can clearly move the ball and play a European style and knock down shots when he gets the opportunity.
So when you're watching League Pass, of course you are watching Klay go off against the Bulls. But once he took the bench, you switch over to the Mavs-Spurs game. That was tight at the end. It was an excellent game. Luka Doncic got some buckets. He put in 31, like this 3 from the top of the key, and this little scoop-de-doop in the lane and put back. But here's the thing. We had this one to win the game. Wide open. DeRozan misses. Oh, he's sad. But it's okay. We're going to overtime, and he has this one to put it away. Step back, tougher shot, hits it, and he called himself after the game a closer. What have you seen different from DeRozan in San Antonio from Toronto?
His game is graduated. The Spurs were a team that normally likes to play primarily with their best players on the perimeter around the three-point line. That's not the strength of DeMar's game. We know that he loves to kill it mid-range and go downhill and pick-and-roll actions, as you saw in the game-deciding shot that he made. But I appreciate the fact that their coaching staff clearly has challenged him to be a better passer than Kawhi Leonard.
9 assists last night.
And if you notice that he continues to get high-level assists to go with this 30 points.
9.
Making players around him better, fitting in great. And another guy who's passing the basketball really well. I'm just going to throw this out there.
Throw it out there.
I know people really don't watch the games. DeAndre Jordan.
Oh, I saw that too. I think he had 6 assists last night at the top of my head, and I looked at that. I was like, that's a great point, Mr. Rose. I was watching the game, and that did stick out to me.
Playing alongside Blake Griffin has really
he's shooting free throws.
Has really helped his ability to find the open man, and he's confidently making free throws at a better rate than he did in the past.
Free throws. Now it's time to ask the question. Is this really real?
Son? Is it really real, son?
The Sacramento Kings went to Miami and beat the Heat. They are now 4-3. Jalen Rose, is this really real?
Anytime I hear Miami, the first person I think about is Uncle Luke Skywalker. Big shout out to him. But De'Aaron Fox is real. Willie Cauley-Stein has shown me
he's been playing well this year.
Bagley has shown me he can ball.
Buddy Hield.
I have to say you're real if I see potential, and you're clearly better than you were last year. Like, clearly better. So I got to give him some props. Shout out to the Vlad father.
Shout out. Jalen Rose, Klay Thompson went off last night. 52 points. Record-breaking 14 threes in a game. However, famously, Klay Thompson is the son of Laker legend Michael Thompson, who's also our colleague and always has an opinion. And here's what he had to say about Klay's game last night. 14 from 24 from 3. Is that good? I would have thought somebody as good as Klay could make at least 18 if he took 24 shots. I love this. What do you think about Michael Thompson's little sneak diss of his son Klay?
Just staying true to character. As a proud father who not only has a son in the NBA, but one in Major League Baseball, continuing to push the envelope, shooting for excellence, shooting for perfection. I'm not surprised by the quote.
He did. Like, I think that people that didn't watch this game, they didn't see the misses. Like, he had some wide open misses in this game, too. Granted, he literally broke the record for most threes made in a game, but he missed some open shots around the third quarter.
He did take 24, though, in less than 30 minutes. So the clip was being emptied.
Oh, yeah. I mean, 27 minutes and 24 threes. Like, when someone who played in your era, like, what's the most threes you've ever shot in a game?
And see, I played with Reggie Miller. And
good point.
People sleep on the fact that he was one of the more high-volume three-point take more 3-point attempts than 2-point attempts type of players.
He was probably one of the first.
But I would never have imagined him taking 24 in any game.
I can imagine him taking 24 in a triple overtime game where he played 50 minutes or something, but like 27 minutes and 24 3-point attempts. That's look, I don't have to be a genius to figure that out. It's like just over a minute and 10 seconds. Then you don't even have the ball for all that time.
But also, it's pop a shot. Remember, there was a time when he scored 60 and only dribbled 19 times.
So Reggie Miller, we got some crack staff research here. He averaged 4.7 3-point attempts a game. This gentleman took 24 threes. I love it. His dad said he should have made 18.
But they're clearly a crack staff, because if they were helping you out, they wouldn't have gave you Reggie's average. They would have made the point and gave you Reggie's career high.
You always got notes. You always got notes.
Gave you wrong information.
They gave you the perfect information.
No, they didn't.
I support our staff.
It was about Reggie's attempts. We were talking about Klay taking 24.
Okay.
You don't average 24.
Jalen Rose, for some reason, because we are sort of shock jock media journalists here in sports, we turned this conversation into, will Klay join the Lakers? How important, is Klay going to leave? It feels to me like that's about 4 steps too many, because at the moment, if anyone was going to leave the Warriors, it wouldn't be Klay. It looks like it's more KD. Don't you agree?
I'm not breaking up the Splash Brothers, and I feel Klay is on the same wavelength. They're going to pay him. He loves his teammates. Oh, and by the way, they just so happen to have 3 championships and counting.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and by the way, he's able to get going on nights like this where he can get 24 3-point shots off in 27 minutes. When Steph just had 50-plus in the game, then he and KD combined for 70 in the game, then KD goes off of 25 in the Garden. Now it's your turn.
Yep. So you hurt the crack staff's feelings, and now they gave the information. Reggie Miller twice shot 16 threes. And he is one of the most prolific three-pointers. He is the most prolific three-pointer of the time. And for him to top out at 16 twice, Klay, sort of midway through his career, already shooting 24, just shows you how much the game has changed. Yeah. Jalen Rose, it's time for news that matters. Jalen Rose.
What up, though?
Do you like water parks?
Love them.
I love water parks, too. I love the high slides. I love the wave pools. I love having snacks. I love running around, but running kind of slow because everything's wet and slippery.
Slip and fall.
Yeah, exactly. I could spend 6 hours at a water park, and I'll have more fun without my kids because I've never been with my kids. They're too little. But man, I love water parks. In Canada, do you like Canada?
Love Canada.
Oh, have I got a water park for you?
Yes.
It's in Lake Louise, Canada.
Yes.
It's called Splashers Pleasure Park. It's 27 acres. Brand new. State-of-the-art technology, slides, and everything.
Oh.
You ready to join me on this water park trip?
Depends on how far it is.
It's pretty far. We'll fly first. But here's the twist. It's adult only, clothing optional. What? Look at me at this water park. You know what I mean? Just check out how happy everybody is at this water park. When you're nude and you're going down the slide, you got your hands in the air, you're about to splash, like, just look at me there, I'm tan. Are we road tripping to this water park, Splashes Paradise, Splashes Pleasure Park?
That sounds like an amazing time. It looked like you were enjoying yourself.
I was. That's why I had to blur it.
Hands in the air, feet in the air.
Yeah.
What do I
Everything in the air. Everything in the air.
Right. You still think about having that surgery after seeing yourself at the park?
Yes, very much. But before I get in trouble, let's move on to more news that matters. Jalen Rose, before you say it, I'm going to say it. This is cultural. Cow cuddling is a thing. Have you ever just had a dog that you snuggled up with? Well, you can now snuggle cows, but it's expensive. What? Just going up and snuggling a cow real quick like Pam Anderson is doing there, that costs you $75. If you want to spend 90 minutes with a variety of different farm animals, just snuggling up on them, lying down, just feeling the warmth of their live bodies next to you, you can do that for $300. This doesn't seem too appealing to me, but the price just seems too expensive.
This definitely cultural, as you mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't seem as expensive as it should be.
What? You think $300 is a bargain?
Yeah.
What? You think $300 to snuggle
Cows
a
are a
smelly
great
cow?
commodity in our society.
What are you talking about?
Cows
this is the
are
most insane thing you've ever said on this
commodity
show.
in our society.
End the show.
What up, though? Shout out to Reg. I'm just listening to the pod, and it turns out that someone thinks that pigeons live underneath bridges and swoop up underneath things because no one's seen a baby pigeon. Baby pigeons are actually called yearlings. They don't fly. That's why you don't see them. They're usually stuck in a nest, tucked up underneath something, so no one sees them. The birds that guy was seeing on flying up underneath bridges are actually called barn swallows. I work for a pest control company, so I know everything there is to know about birds and bugs and stuff. So if you have roaches and mice, Jacoby, hit a brother up.
Couple things.
Great info.
Couple things. Number one, I did some research on this topic, Jalen Rose. It's been an ongoing Jalen and Jacoby investigates topic. So I did some investigations. Here's what the real deal with you're not seeing baby pigeons. Do you know why you don't see baby pigeons? They don't fledge, which means leaving the nest, until they're almost fully grown. So they're kind of like us. We leave the house at 18 when we're adults. They do the same thing. So you don't see baby pigeons because they're tucked away in the nest until they get big enough to fend for themselves, unlike other birds, which will fledge much earlier in their life cycle. I appreciate that information. I appreciate this call. And I also have another update for the people.
What's that?
No ants, no mice in the crib anymore.
How is that possible in New York City?
You know what I figured out? Well, first of all, the exterminator came, got rid of the ants. But you know how I got rid of the mice with my wife's help? Very, very simple thing. Very simple.
What?
You know those little rubber flaps that you put at the bottom of your door?
Mm-hmm.
Put one of those at the front door. Basically, close the part where the mice could get in the house. The mice aren't living in the house. At nighttime, they would just crawl up from outside and then go under the door and then crawl around and freak everybody out.
I love New York City.
Don't give a butt here. It's over. I love New York City. That's it.
But you're going to see some rats. You're going to see some mice just walking through the streets.
Oh, yeah, all the time.
It doesn't matter what rent district you live in.
Oh, yeah. Oh, because they don't pay rent. They don't care.
It's just crowded. It's just crowded. They don't have any place to cook.
Would you rather eat the garbage in the hood or the garbage in the nice neighborhood? Garbage is garbage. Yeah, exactly. I'd rather have some leftover takeout. You know what I mean? Exactly. I want to thank you so much for the call. I want to thank Arby's for sending us some mediocre sandwiches. I want to thank the Henny Theme Festival for just giving people. What? Dog, I'm telling you the truth. They're not a sponsor of the show. Just because they sent like a few free sandwiches doesn't mean I'm not going to give my real opinion. I was not blown away by the sandwiches, but I was not like, hey, these sandwiches are bad either. They were mediocre sandwiches.
You ate them.
What did you think of the sandwiches?
I thought they were good.
They're pretty good.
That's better than mediocre. You ate 3 sandwiches. They better than mediocre.
I had one bite of all 3 sandwiches. Why are you trying to act like I'm lying about how much I enjoyed the sandwiches? This is like yesterday with the controversy on Monster Jam. Like, I'm giving my opinion.
Controversy about what?
Monster Jam.
How you say it?
Monster Jam.
That's better.
We'll be back tomorrow.
We'll be back.
Special guest host tomorrow as Jalen has to take all day long to get his Halloween costume on. You dressing up in a Halloween costume for Countdown?
No, I'm too old for those shenanigans.
I like that. Me neither. We'll be back tomorrow.
I'll wear a mask in a minute, though.
We're not done. We're not done. Got to give the people time. Give people what they want.
They my little guys. I love them.